Hey guys, Max here from maxvan.com. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys a tool that I believe will fundamentally change the way that you think about and you approach your life. It's called gain versus gap. And I have to admit, I didn't come up with this topic. I learned it, I heard it somewhere a couple of years ago, and I honestly don't remember where. But I've been using it ever since, teaching it to my clients, teaching it to everyone that is struggling in their lives with really finding the right perspective, because it's a really powerful tool. And so gain versus gap, the central idea here is that there's two basic modes of focusing on your life that we can employ at any moment in time. There's a gain, which is about looking at the past. It's about looking at how far you've already come, what you've already done in your life. While the gap, on the other hand, is about where you want to go. It's about the gap from where you are today to where you want to be and what it takes to close that gap, right? And so these two basic modes of focusing on our goals, on our values, on our lives are really the ways that people sort of conceptualize their lives. And so the thing is, most people are constantly living in the gap. They're constantly living in, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't accomplished that goal yet. This is what I need to become, right? And so it's a really useful thing, can be, for motivation, for inspiration, right? You need to have those goals. You need to have that vision. But oftentimes it can also make people feel inferior and incompetent and not good enough and not worthy enough, because they feel like they're never quite there, right? They never actually get to where they want to be, right? And so living in the gap between where you are today and where you want to be tomorrow, or next week, next month, next year, next decade, right? It can oftentimes really paralyze people and actually make them feel bad about themselves. Actually, lead them to a lot of anxiety and negative emotions, because they feel like they're just not good enough. Like just the other day, I was talking to someone that had this limiting belief that I have to be perfect, right? I have to be strong. I have to be independent. I can't show my negative thoughts. I can't show my weaknesses to people, or else I'm not good enough, right? She was living in the gap, right? She was living in that state of I'm not good enough yet, right? And so it can be a really hard thing to conquer, right? And so for some people, not for everyone, but for some people, it can be a lot more useful to start living in the gain, to start living in what you've already done along the way. What have you already accomplished in your life, right? What are some challenges, some fears, some obstacles that you faced and overcome in your life? What are some goals that you've accomplished? What are some character traits, some positive character traits that you've developed in your life, right? What are some amazing things that you absolutely love about yourself? Some things that you're proud of, right? Some things that other people maybe haven't done yet. Things that maybe other people keep congratulating you about or on, right? Maybe you're really just getting clear on what are some of the amazing things about myself. Because we can use both ways, right? We can live in a gap or we can live in a gain at any moment in time. And it's really about figuring out for yourself specifically in your life, where do you need to spend more time on, right? Because all of us spend time in both areas, and it's really about finding the right balance in your life of focusing on the gap and focusing on the gain, right? So if you want to fuel that ambition, that motivation, right? That's about living in the gap, right? That's about living in what do I need to do, right? How do I need to develop? How do I need to get better, right? What are the skill sets, the resources, the mindsets that I need to create in my life in order to be able to accomplish that goal? But at the same time, especially when we're struggling, especially when we're hurt, especially when we feel like we're not good enough, we're not capable, we're not worthy enough, right? We just can't do it, right? That's when you need to refocus on the gain again, right? That's when you need to remember your past wins and your past successes and all the past times when you've accomplished similar things, you've overcome similar fears. That's when you need to start living a gap and deliberately fueling that in order to feel more confident. Because if you think about where confidence actually comes from, it comes from successful behavior in the past. For me, for example, I've been running literally every day for the last 7 or 8 years, right? Which means that I feel incredibly confident in my ability to run. So if right now you told me, hey, go run a marathon tomorrow, without any specific practice, I'd just be like, okay, I'll do it, right? Easy, no problem, right? For someone that hasn't done that, they wouldn't feel confident, right? Because they haven't earned the right to feel confident. And so this is really what it's about, right? It's about earning the right to feel confident by successfully acting in the past, but then also thinking about it, focusing on it, right? Remembering that. And that is the aspect that people forget, right? They do all these things, right? But they don't deliberately celebrate their successes. They don't deliberately celebrate all of the great things they've done. And so they don't feel confident simply because they haven't focused on it in the right way. And so the game is really about celebrating your greatness, celebrating all of the amazing things they've already done. Because while you may not be perfect yet, and you may not be where you want to be at, and you may not be the kind of person that you want to be, you have already certainly acquired certain skills, certain capabilities, certain traits that are worth celebrating, that are worth being proud of. And the reality is that if you start to live in that game aspect, right? If you start to live in that abundance, in that gratitude for who you are, the reality is you're going to start to feel better, which then allows you to tap more into resources, to tap more into challenges, to really start facing those things that will allow you to achieve that goal. But it's about having that abundance first, the abundance of love, the abundance of joy for yourself, that then really allows you to go out and tackle your goals and tackle your ambitions. So guys, I really hope this video sort of helped you get more clear on this concept of gain versus gap, of really getting clear on where you are in your life right now. Are you focusing more on the gap, on where you want to be, right? Which can be useful, but it's also challenging, right? Because it can make you feel inferior. It can make you feel like you're not good enough and you're not worthy enough. Or you're focusing on the gain, right? On where you've come from, right? On all the amazing things they've already accomplished in the past, right? It's by learning to play with those two things to see which one do I need at this moment in time, right? Do I need to feel that confidence, or I need to feel that inspiration, that motivation? So guys, I really hope you like this video. If you did and you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button below to get more videos like this on mental mastery, what it takes to live an epic life. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.